A good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 1st of February, 2025. Come at this episode of the Crusty podcast, episode 334, Lies, Tariffs, Safe Supply, and Unity. Oh my God, looks like the tariffs hasn't come in yet. Not until Tuesday, according to the news, and other fallacies coming our way, ladies and gentlemen. Viewer and listener discretion is advised because I will swear, warning you, and I smoke cigarettes and I'll be drinking coffee too. All that and more coming at the show. Please stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, episode 334 of Crusty Up Podcast. Oh my God, more Blarney from Carney. And of course, like I said, lies, tariffs, safe supply, and unity. Questionable. This podcast is all brought to you in part by and supported by Veterans for Freedom Network. That's right, Stand 2. And coming soon, Veterans for Freedom TV. Anyway, hi, everybody. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Hope you've had a wonderful couple of days since my last episode. All is well here in the beautiful world of podcastery. Interesting. Doesn't make any sense. And as to say, I hope you're all doing well. If you like and hear what you see, and please click like, subscribe, share this content all over social media platforms too. And thank you, everybody out there who has downloaded my last episode, especially on Podbean there too. I'm getting a couple of people from Scotland and Mexico, so thank you guys very much. Awesome to see you. Thank you very much for your dedicated viewership. So in the news today, I guess the tariffs didn't go through. Donald Trump didn't push him, as he said. He's going to wait till Tuesday now. Okay. So I guess the panic is somewhat subsided. Anyhow, these tariffs, I don't know what to say, to be honest with you, because it's really going to affect both workers on both sides of the border. It's going to affect not just Canadians, it's going to affect Americans too. Now, I can see why Donald Trump has said what he has said over the past few months, just after his election and prior to him taking his rightful place in the White House. But when you really think about it, look at the economics of our country the past few years. Now, you've heard me ramble on my last episode and episode before, too, in regards to how much money this country has to help the less fortunate. We've been very, very generous when it comes to dirty fucking wars and the drug trade and this fallacy and that fallacy. Bleeding hearts here, bleeding hearts there, except we have a government now that doesn't want to help its own people. Okay? They tried to help us during the pandemic. Money was going here to false places. Money was going there to false places, to people that didn't need it, people that just took advantage of it, and people that did need it had to pay it back. However, they're still missing, I think, $1.5 billion or a few $1 billion still unaccounted for. So who knows? Who knows exactly what's in the works for these ass clowns, ass hats? But my heart's going to people like my wife, my friends, my neighbors, my family, people I work with, people I've worked for, and how this is going to affect them come this Tuesday. Now, when I say lies, I mean lies as in how much has the federal government stooped to give us a fucking hand in the past 9 years? Okay, honestly, how much? How much have they gone out of their way to make sure that our borders are secure, that our military is up to snuff, that we do have money in the bank, so we can save for a rainy day, in case of a crisis such as this has come our way. Now I've been at odds with a few people out and about in public in regards to what Trump is doing and what Justin Trudeau is doing. The majority of Canadians do not like what Trudeau is doing. Now, I stuck around and I watched his speech on CTV News earlier this evening. He said he was going to come up at 6:30, but he did not really show up until about 10 after 7, Mountain Standard Time. So fashionably late, So it is obvious that he has his priorities together to get us information on time. Now, he's going to promote retaliatory tariffs in regards to American liquor, American beer, American products such as juice, clothing, shoes, what have you, furniture. And, I don't think it's really going to make that much of a difference from the Canadian side of things because the population and because of the buying power and the actual manual labor it takes to book these products back and forth. Okay. I mentioned this before in my last episode. Do we have the buying power to really stick it to them? You know what I mean? The thing being, he can brag all he wants about the whole 1.6 or the 1.3 billion dollars that he's investing over a period of years to upgrade our border. But he had the better part of 9 years literally after that too. And I remember many, many moons ago, especially just after 9/11, where Chrétien was told the same, not just by the Americans, but by other people, the citizens, the people that pay his salary, about the same thing when it comes to border security. Okay. And the biggest thing they could probably come up with is extra fencing, you know? So we'll have to see come Tuesday, see what happens here too. But these tariffs, it's kind of hard to say if they're justified or not. Mr. Trump has made a good point in regards to how we should look after our security. And I don't think he was doing it to tell us what to do as a country. I think he was doing it to look after the neighborhood, basically, like any neighbor would, kind of thing. If you got houses that look prim and proper and nice and neat and people take time and effort to look after it, and then you got some scuzzball lives beside you, doesn't want to cut his grass, doesn't want to paint anything, just want to keep the upkeep up, yeah, of course you're going to be concerned, right? And I'm not talking in regards to value of your neighborhood or the value of the home here or value of the land there. I'm talking about the self-respect and showing some pride and dignity in your nation. Now, I'll summarize Justin's report without puking. I was going to tape it. I was going to queue up a video there, but a lot of it's regurgitation. Now, he made a specific point how we're proud to be Canadians and we look after our neighbors and we look after each other in times of crisis. And we wave the flag proudly, especially when it comes to our athletes winning a gold medal. Now, he also quoted just after he was elected back in 2015 how Canada was a post-national state. You know what I mean? So if a prime minister is going to say that 9 years ago and turn around and want to be patriotic all of a sudden, is he really, really doing it for the sake of helping out us fellow Canucks, his people? Because technically he's still in charge until a new leader comes in. Okay, and that'll bring me to Mr. Carney there later in this show, ladies and gentlemen. But regardless of what kind of harp he's playing and what kind of swan song he wants us all to swallow, I don't think he's legitimate in it. If his idea of retaliatory tariffs is going to help, fine. But you're just making our lives harder, Mr. Trudeau, Liberal Party, and all your supporters. You're making our life even fucking harder. Because come April 1st in this country, the carbon tax is going up again. Okay? And that doesn't matter if there's a new prime minister or not. It's going to go up again. So there's going to be another month and a half, maybe 2 months, assuming they're going to have a spring election. That's assuming Mr. Singh will actually vote non-confidence in regards to Justin Trudeau's behavior and the new Liberal leader's behavior. But, time will tell, right? It's like they used to tell us in the army, crack don't smoke itself.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 334, Lies, Tariffs, Safe Supply, and Unity. Of course, more stuff from Blarney Carney. Now, I watched a bit of a video for him today when he was sitting in CTV Atlantic, having the same kind of interview and spiel that Pierre Poilievre did there last week, and how he was talking how we don't need steel, and we really don't need this, and Canadians don't use this, and Canadians don't use that. And he's wishy-washy on getting rid of the carbon tax and the capital gains issue. Now, it was news last night that the CRA withdrew from the capital gains issue. So more lies there, more lies coming our way, especially when it comes to our tax collectors, those wankers that want to make more money at our expense, the people that want to work in their office only 3 days out of the week, while the rest of us taxpayers have to work 10 days or more just to make ends meet. Okay. So there's more lies and fallacies there too. I think they saw the light that there's going to be a lot of people without any money. And thankfully, the fine people, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, took him to court or willing to take him to court. and say, what are you doing charging people taxes when it hasn't been passed in the House yet? Right? And the same people at the Taxpayers Federation have noticed that the CRA wants to do automatic taxation. Basically, it saves you the trip from filing, okay, but they'll just assume what you owe them every fiscal year based on whatever figures they pull out of their ass to make their lives easier and make your lives harder, right? See, that's what happens when you have taxation without proper representation. They can just do what they want to your fucking wallet without worrying about the repercussions because they represent the law and the Income Tax Act of 1917. Yes, bullshit. Right? So that goes up with the whole lies and more tariffs there too. Now, I can understand certain tariffs, let's say if you're dealing with a war-torn country or a bunch of dictators or a bunch of shitheads, okay? And in a way, this tariff is probably going to smarten up our administration and maybe hold them accountable for a little bit more than they're presenting to us in the general public, okay? So I could go on all day about the fallacies of Justin Trudeau, the fallacies of Mark Carney, the fallacies of Chrystia Freeland, Karina Gold, and everybody other wanker that wants to take the top job to be prime minister for a good few weeks or for a month until they actually call a proper federal election. I could also tell you about the fallacies of a governor general that doesn't give a royal shit about you and I, the fallacies of the Senate, right? Because Justin Trudeau also added 10 more senators. So I guess another little gesture that he's going to make before he officially leaves office in this country. Okay. Now, the Senate in this country is top heavy with liberals already. Okay. There's a few conservatives. There's some other separatists in there too, but it's mostly liberal supporters. Okay. Now, to my American listeners out there, when you become a senator in Canada, you are appointed. You're not elected, not like you're down in the States. Okay. And it's a very, very cushy position, very, very lucrative. I think the starting salary is roughly $160,000 a year. That's the start. And I think every year there's more incentive that's added on to it too. Plus, there is some taxation. Not much, though, to make a long story short, but enough just to say, oh, I'm paying my fair share. Right. And they have the same perks and privileges as a lot of the parliamentarians. They can be driven around. They got places to stay. They're well accommodated. Someone rubs their feet. Someone tickles their butt. Slap and tickle for the pickle. You know the whole routine, right? So, and apparently Justin is appointing 10 more for this whole thing. So it makes you wonder, makes you think, where are these priorities? We're going to be having a tariff war with our friends in the South there. And these guys are jumping around, trying to fill these positions, fill that positions, just to make sure that the ideology and the mandates are still holding true, right? And the legacy that's going to be left for this country is going to be one shit show after another. It's going to be hard for the conservatives to clean up, assuming they get elected, or it's going to be hard for any other government to clean up, assuming they get elected too. And we, the taxpayers, the plebes, the veterans, the blue collars, the people that actually run this nation based on our spending power, which is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we speak, is going to get it up the chuff. Okay? So, with that being said, we just got to keep standing by to stand by and see what happens.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, episode 334. Lies, tariffs, safe supply, and unity? ? Yeah, unity. Now, the funny thing that what Justin was talking about there, about unity, where was all these politicians when it came to unifying the country during the pandemic? Okay? Where were these clowns when it came to unifying this country when it came to the convoy? Okay? Where were they? No, they were sitting there condemning it and chastising it. And yet, while they're condemning the convoy truckers and condemning people that question the science, right, and condemning people that question their authority, right, they still let people burn flags in this country, riot in Montreal, protest in Toronto and every other major city in the name of another little country fighting another little country, okay? And they want to spit in this country, spit on our history, tear down statues, break things, smash things, and yet still collect benefits from being here. So where's the priorities there, right? And equally so, there have been NDPers and liberals alike who've worn the keffiyeh in the House, standing in solidarity when there's been veterans being screwed around, people being fired from their jobs, people losing their jobs, losing their homes, and they think they're fighting the good fight. Now you have the audacity to ask for unity? Now you have the balls to ask for unity? What's going on, buds? Right? So basically, regardless of how powerful his speech was and how it sounded, and it sounded pretty cool. But that's what you get from a fucking drama teacher, not what you get from a leader. Okay. Now, my curiosity is where's Pierre Poilievre on this issue? I've seen some readouts from Max Bernier for the PPC party. Okay. Where's my other libertarians out there speaking against this? We can speak out against taxes all we want. Okay. A tariff is a tax. Inflation is a tax. Income tax is a tax. Land taxes, carbon taxes, tobacco taxes. Okay. You know, taxes to increase the safe supply issue that's been happening in every major city in this country, too. So while the Americans complain about the fentanyl issue that's coming across the border, how does it come across the border, too, ladies and gentlemen? Interesting, eh? We have a thing in Canada called safe supply. Where's that safe supply coming from? You have to make the ingredients to lock up the safe supply, do you not? Or do you buy it from the street thugs and deem it as safe supply? Right? These are Canadian cigarettes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a smoker. Okay, I'm addicted. I have a nicotine habit. I have a nicotine addiction. Is there safe supply for us when it comes to that? Is there safe supply when it comes to liquor? Right? Without any government overreach? No, there's not. The government gets a good chunk of change from every pack of these that are sold. So government gets a good chunk of change from every bottle of beer, bottle of wine, bottle of liquor, you name it. Right? And regardless of where those taxes go, it's still taxed nonetheless. Right? So when I hear the terms safe supply, what's safe about it? It's causing problems. I'm sure there's lots of these out there too, especially my American listeners. How many people do you see strung out in the streets over the so-called safe supply? Right? How's it being safe? How's it being constructive? How is it helping your fellow man? Not too fucking lately. So these individuals say we don't have a fentanyl problem, yet there's all this safe supply issue. Then which is the problem? Which is it? We do have drugs to give to the masses, or we don't have drugs to give to the masses because we have a safe supply. We obviously have the means to fucking make it in some laboratory sponsored by the government. Right? So what's that tell you? Right? Just tells you a fucking joke once again. Right? And when it comes to this unity of this country, how are you unifying people? Making them reliant on government, making them relying on drugs, tobacco, nicotine, right? I don't show any loyalty to the government because of tobacco. That's my own damn fault. I show loyalty to leadership when I see it. I show loyalty to this. Trying to anyway. And it's getting more difficult every day. And Tuesday, who knows what's going to happen? Where my loyalty is going to lie then. I have friends I still talk to from the Army, and we talk about loyalty all the time. We talk about honor. We talk about service. We talk about what we did and how we did this and how he screwed this up and how that guy screwed that up and how I screwed this up. Back and forth, back and forth. And yet, when we talk about our leaders, especially senior leaders in the service and leaders before and leaders now, we're not fucking impressed. Okay, we're not. We're not impressed at all. We're not impressed with the way they talk to people, the way they handle a crisis, the way they handle a situation, because the things the liberals have in common, they're all ready to blame somebody else for something. Like I mentioned too, Blarney Carney and his little spiel on CTV Atlantic saying, "Oh, we don't need steel." What do you think drives our cars? What do you think molds our cars? There's a lot more plastics in the body now, too, but the frame is steel. A lot of our machinery relies on steel. A lot of machinists still use steel, right? What do you think ships those fucking wind turbines that you WEF clowns want? Steel. Steel trailers driven by steel trucks, right? And yet, the closer and closer we get to this crisis, the more the blame game goes elsewhere. So it's classic deflections when it comes to the welfare and the sovereignty of the Canadian people. I've also noticed people that I've engaged with over the past couple of years in regards to liberty in this country and to patriotism and to military service. And I dealt with a lot of people that said, oh, the military culture is so toxic. I can't believe they're doing this. It's good that they're putting tampons in the male washroom. Is it? You'd rather spend $400 million in a country overseas rather than put $400 million into getting proper instructors to train recruits that are in waiting. Gotcha. Fucking some people's kids, eh? So if you're going to support a noble cause, then I suggest all these brand new patriots that are coming out of the woodwork, you actually stand up for this country. If the prime minister is going to talk about unity, then actually be unified. Okay? Don't chastise a man for being masculine. Don't chastise a woman for being feminine. Right? And if you're dealing with somebody who still demands the use of pronouns, well, you can just tell them where to go. Time to grow up, Canada. Time to start being adults. Right? Now we got to deal with a crisis that lays before our feet in the next few days. So what are the suggestions? Right? It's going to take more than slapping a tariff on orange juice to annoy Uncle Sam. Right? But us Canadians, we've been annoyed a very, very long time because of the piss poor leadership, because of the piss poor drive for excellence. Right? They're going to put 10% on our oil. Okay, that's not good, but it's not as bad as 25%. Maybe this should give people more incentive to open up the floodgates when it comes to our resources, i.e., let the oil flow, open up the pipelines, Energy East, right? Let's open up the flow of oil to Japan, to China, the people that need it. Open up the floodgates for oil to the people in Europe that won't have to rely on Russian assets. Start relying on Canadian assets. That way we can make some bucks, you can make some bucks, and everyone's fucking happy. But no, they don't see it that way, right? Because all the Carneys and all the Golds, right? All the Trudeaus, all the Freelands, they all represent the same brand, the Justin Trudeau 0.20 or the 2.0 Justin Trudeau mentality, right? Let's screw the little guy for us to get ahead. That's what they're doing. And you see it right now, how they're scrambling to stand for Canadian sovereignty. And yet, where were they 10 years ago? Where were they 5 years ago, too? Not here, not with you and I, right? Nowhere to be found, except sitting there dictating, calling people like me, people like you, other blue collars, other people that question their authority, dirty fucking names. And now they want our help? Priorities, eh? Really?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Lies, Tariffs, Safe Supply, and Unity. Episode 334, of course. Now, the title card there. Thank you, Paul, for making that card for me. Appreciate that, buddy. Hope all is well. Hope you and the wife are doing okay. Hope all is well there, too. Just a reminder, too, if you like and hear what you see, ladies and gentlemen, click like, subscribe, share this content on social platforms. Do not be shy. Give me a comment. Give me a thumbs up, too, wherever you see this, whether it be Rumble or YouTube. Please let me know what's on your mind there, ladies and gentlemen, too. And for the record, I'm not going to sit and waste my time debating anybody who's got a degree. No, I'm fed up. I've had some comments recently I had to delete. Just some really rude comments. It's like, really? You're that confident in your ability to lead this country, and yet you don't have the common courtesy to look up 21st century or 20th century history? And it's safe to say that some of these clowns were Marxist based. So I'd sooner fight you guys. Really, I don't have time for words when it comes to you Marxist clowns. You want to meet me someplace and we can duke it out. That's not a problem. I'll do that with you. Okay. Because I'm so sick and tired of the rhetoric, and I'm so sick and tired of the garbage language. You know, you wrote a dissertation on something, or you wrote an essay on something, and all of a sudden you're brilliant. Well, good for you. You have a piece of paper that says I'm smart, right? We'll see how smart you are when real fight comes down your fucking throat. We'll see how smart you are when real crisis happens to your life. So if any of you Marxists want to engage me, let me know. Let me know. Okay? It's that simple. Because I'm just tired of typing and typing and typing and engaging and trying to encourage common sense. If something doesn't belong to you, it doesn't belong to you because you never worked for it. And if I have $20, what are you entitled to? Not a goddamn thing. If you're lying in the street bleeding, hey, I'll give you first aid. That's not a problem. If you're lost, I'll give you some directions. But you want to be a dick and take something that doesn't belong to you, then you're going to get a fight on your hands. It's that simple. It's amazing. Being humbled was not taught to you in a classroom of your peers. You want to engage me in that kind of fight, let me know. And I'll put you in your place. It's that simple. And if I don't do it, I know people who will. It's that simple. Anyway, enough of this fucking high school tough guy banter bullshit. We're back to episode 334. Lies, tariffs, safe supply, and unity. So how are we going to find unity? Now, I just threatened Marxists to fight them. But it's, they're Marxists. They're not real people anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's just my opinion. Who cares? But carrying on. After seeing Justin's news conference, I'm still not impressed. He was very impressive with his delivery and his stance for Canada, yet his record the past 9 years has shown otherwise, ladies and gentlemen. And take it any way as you want to. Take it as what you think it is. It's obvious he's taken some responsibility for things, but he's not doing it right. He's not owning anything too. And I think 3/4 of the problem that we are facing when it comes to the tariffs, when it comes to the security of this country, it's on them. They've been told about military spending. They've been told about security problems and assets. My last episode talking about Justice Hogue saying there's nothing to see here, even though there's proof that there's been infiltration. There's been influence, undue influence. Maybe some money's passed here and there, slaps and tickles here and there, right? But of course, nothing to see. And now they're scrambling. They're scrambling for dear life. But instead of actually doing it for the country, they're only doing it to save face, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. Just to save fucking face. How else do I say it? Anyway, we shall persevere, my friends. We shall persevere to our best of our abilities. Try to keep our wits about us and try to focus on what's good there. Yes, I did threaten Marxists a fight, and I will. Okay? But I'm still going to be civil and decent with people, and I expect you, my wonderful audience, to do the same thing too, because you are all fucking awesome. Okay, another round of applause. You guys are great. Never change. Stand up for what's right and do what's good for you and yours. Anyway, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 1st of February, 2025. No tariffs as of yet, but we'll have to wait and see come Tuesday anyway, too. I'll try to get an episode up for you there. Hopefully before then, or maybe Tuesday afternoon. We'll see. Time will tell. But I'll do my best to keep you all informed. Thank you once again to my new subscribers. You guys are great. I am really, really grateful that I've had some new subscribers on the show and some wonderful comments too. And double check your subscription. Check your little bell there too to see if you're still subscribed. Click on it just to make sure you get new content your way when it's made. All that good stuff too. If you want to donate, please donate. Links are in the description there too. I won't have any sources on, but I do have a song for this episode. It's by Creedence Clearwater Revival, Ramble Tamble. Probably one of their best pseudo-instrumental tunes. It comes off the Cosmos Factory LP, I believe 1970. I'll double check, but I'll include that in the description. You guys can listen to that at your leisure too. I'm a bit of a 60s theme the past couple of weeks. Listening to a lot of 60s rock kind of thing. Vanilla Fudge, Chambers Brothers, Creedence, just getting on that 60s wave for some reason. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's helping with my writing too. Like I say, I'm writing a few stories here and there too. I've got a short story in the progress, and I've got a short screenplay and other screenplays in the progress to speak too. So it's helped my creative juices flow. Anyhow, like I said, I have been Crusty Canuck on this 1st of February, 2025. I wish good things for you all out there. Don't be shy. Stand up for what's right. Stand up for what's real. And there's nothing wrong with loving your country. Nothing wrong with being masculine. Nothing wrong with being feminine. And there's nothing wrong with being you. All right? Do what you can to help you out in these trying times. And like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Mama said I had a face for radio. Well, then I told her, Mama, you got a butt like the Navy. You drop it off in every port. See you, folks.